Hello, I'm Nick Pohl.
And I am Marjolein Roeleveld.
And we're just exploring this idea that comes from Marjolein's training and background in Mime about how embodiment and beginner's mind sort of fit together. In Mime, Marjolein, you have this concept of the zero point from where you start from. Could you explain that a little?
Yeah, it's actually it came from Etienne Decroux, who made Mime like it is today with the mime corporel, and corporel is body, so it's embodiment. And the zero is really the starting point for everything in a performance when you are a mime. So the zero is standing on your 2 feet. When you stand, you have your feet parallel, everything is straight, you have a cord in your at the top of your head going up, but your feet are also grounded. And it's about actually becoming aware of your body, becoming aware of the space where you're in, and all the senses. So for me, the zero as a starting point has also really to do with the openness and the senses that you are using, also relating to other performers, persons in the space and the audience. So in that way, starting from the zero, and then of course you do all kinds of things, but it's really a starting point to let things happen.
From the body, yeah. And of course, you're also a Shiatsu practitioner.
Yeah.
And the parallel here between the Qigong as a kind of developing awareness within yourself, and then that awareness opening out. In Mime, you're opening out towards your fellow performer or towards the audience. In Shiatsu, you're opening out to the client who's there with you. What was it like to bring your Mime background to starting to train in Shiatsu and develop those skills?
Yeah, well, for me, the first year of doing Shiatsu was really about learning the kata and also about working from the hara, so the center. And actually, that was what I trained. I felt like I trained that already for 4 years in the Mime and Qigong. So for me, it is still very natural to also touch somebody. In the Mime, I'm used to doing improvisations, lying on top of each other. You know, it's because it's also they're considered. You are considered a body, so you can work with that. So doing Shiatsu, I feel like this groundedness, and Shiatsu and the zero really has a link to it, because in Shiatsu, when I treat a client, when then I also start from a zero for me, because I relate to this client as an audience. I'm not going to perform. In a way I am, maybe, but it's more actually what happens in Mime is that I really feel that the audience is there and that it's an exchange instead of me doing something and they receive it. And in Shiatsu, it's the same. I feel that it's an exchange, opening up the senses, being embodied. And if the client can also do that, then something happens that you cannot, how do you say that, predict, or you don't know. So it's about this intention.
There's another question I had was this. We talk, you know, in Zen, the Zen tradition, about the beginner's mind and the expert mind. And it seems like Mime training is about bringing the expert mind to analyze the body and the way the body moves. But the expert mind is at the service of the embodied mind, the beginner's mind. It's not dominating, it's not telling you what should happen. But as you begin to develop this highly sophisticated expert awareness of the body and the movements, something changes in your ability to be embodied, would you say?
Yeah, I think it works together in that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean,
Yeah,
for example, you were talking about the very tiny differences between where your head goes. Could you just
yeah.
demonstrate that for a moment?
Yeah, well, it really it feels like, but it's really like if you have your head like this and you do this and you do this and you do this, and I already have my hand here, so that's also saying something. If I take it away, but if I do this and I leave my head, my eyes there, and I do this and I leave my eyes there and I do this, it means something else. So um, how you move, like tiny differences. I find it such fun to play with these details and to have an audience um, uh, experience that. When you do that, also with a client, when you, for instance, when I'm talking about this head movements, when you would do something like change your hand to this on a body, I'm just saying something that could have a huge impact for somebody.
Yeah.
And it's really a matter of uh, staying connected to it, I think, as a practitioner and as a performer, to
Indeed.
feel
Yeah.
what's happening and to also feel where it can go, because that's also the fun. I mean, it's not always fun, maybe in the treatment, but that's the fun of it, that you don't know yet. You have not thought of it, but it's happening and it's going somewhere.
Is there any final word you'd like to, or a bit of advice you'd like to give to the Shiatsu people based on your experience from mine?
I would say what the, the senses, and training your senses to be open and to be aware of what's happening before you do anything, but just being in the zero, standing and being alert in standing. I think that's a pretty beautiful starting point also for a treatment. Yeah.
And a beautiful ending point too. Thank you very much, Marjolein. Thank you. I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.